Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruh wa na'udzu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina. May yahdihillahu fala mudhillalah wa may yudlilhu fala hadiyalah. Asyhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la syarikalah wa asyhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim wa barik ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad kama barakta ala Ibrahim wa ala ali Ibrahim fil alamin innaka Hamidum Majid. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amma ba'd. All praises be to Allah. We praise Him. We ask for His help. We ask for His forgiveness. We seek refuge with Allah from the wickedness of ourselves and from the badness of our deeds. Whoever been given by Allah guidance, then nobody can be misguided for him. And whoever been misguided by Allah, then nobody can be a guider for him. I bear witness there is no God worthy to worship except Allah. Only Him, no associate for Him. And I bear witness that Muhammad is His servant and His messenger. O Allah, give good prayers upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, as you give to good prayers upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. O Allah, bless upon Muhammad and the family of Muhammad, as you have blessed upon Abraham and the family of Abraham. Verily, you are most worthy of praises and abundance in gift. Today, inshallah, we will continue with our topic, honoring knowledge, and we arrive, inshallah, today to the 10th summary. Last 2 weeks before we finish the 9th summary about being patient in knowledge, in either taking the knowledge or giving away the knowledge, in learning and in teaching. So we said about to be patient in learning, inshallah. So today, inshallah, we will enter into the 10th summary. There is mulazamatu adabil ilmi, mulazamatu adabil ilm. There is the meaning is to sticking or always be with manners of knowledge, because in learning or in knowledge there is the certain manners that we have to make sure that we are doing it, inshallah. Okay, he said here, Qala Ibn Qayyim rahimahullah fi kitabihi. Ibn Qayyim, may Allah Ta'ala have mercy upon him, said in his book Madarijus Salikin. The book Madarijus Salikin is actually a book of self-purification that Ibn Qayyim al-Jawziyah, based on the ayah of Surah Al-Fatihah, Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Only you, O Allah, we worship, and only you, O Allah, we seek help. We seek help. So from that point, he tried to explain about how a person should become elevated in self-purification and rising up their soul towards the greatness, or to become nearer to Allah. So in his book, he said something about manners in knowledge. He said, Adabul mar'i unwanu sa'adatihi wa falahihi. That manners of a person who have manners, the manners that he have is actually the sign of his happiness and success. Wakillatu adabihi unwanu syaqawatuhu wa bawaruhu. And as the same, while lack of his manners is the sign of his misery and destruction. He said, famastujliba khairud dunya wal akhirati bimithli adab wala yustajlabu hirmanuhuma bimithli qillatil adab. Never have the goodness of dunya, the world, and the akhirah, the hereafter. Never ever the goodness of this world and hereafter being brought to us, to a person, as being drawn by the manners. What manners can get you from the goodness of dunya and akhirah. Never ever anything else can give as manners. And never have the loss of both the goodness of dunya and the goodness of akhirah, never ever being lost. Okay, both of them is being brought the loss by the lack of manners. Never ever the loss of goodness of dunya and akhirah happen to a person being brought by worse than lack of manners. Because manners is actually something is actually really, really important. When we read about the story of the not witch, the magician of Pharaoh, when they are actually going to face Musa alayhi salam, they start by saying to Musa alayhi salam, to Moses, they said, anta atulkiya am nakuna an nakuna awwala man alqa. Either you throw first or we become the first who throw anything that we want to do magic with. So they have the manners with Moses alayhi salam, peace upon him. So because of that, many of scholars say that the manners that the magician had at that time towards Moses is the thing that opened up for them the hidayah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the guidance from Allah. They become mu'min and see the haq, the truth is the truth, and have the opportunity to follow the truth is actually because of the manners, because they are well mannered with Musa alayhi salam, with Moses. A poet said here, wal mar'u la yasmu bi ghairil adabi wa in yakun dha hasabi wa nasabi. He said a person wouldn't rise up without manners, even if he own rank and lineage. A person have rank in society, maybe he is a prime minister, a president, a king, or any rank that he have, or by lineage, he is actually the son of somebody, the daughter of somebody. The person will not rise up, will not be respected in the society except with manners. The respect he will get, or she will get, is actually according to the manners. Even though if they have the rank or they have the lineage, people will not respect them. They will not rise up in front of everybody except because of manners. He said, wa innama yasluhu lil ilmi man ta'addaba bi adabihi fi nafsihi wa darsihi ma'a shaykhihi wa qarinihi. Only will be well for knowledge. A person will be appropriate for knowledge is whoever behaving with his manner, the manner of knowledge, in his self, in his own self, his character, his character, he according to the manners of the knowledge, and also in his learning. Like we said that you have to have the the thing about when you learn knowledge, you always learn the whatever is actually more important, most important, then the more important after that. You don't ever do something without carefully know about that. And certainly when you learn about manners, when you learn, you always make sure that you learn everything, but you are mastering in one thing about the knowledge. That is what we said before about when you learn, you have to have that manners. So anybody actually who has actually who can be said as having um, appropriate, being well to have knowledge is the person that is actually behaving with the knowledge manners, the knowledge manners in himself, in his learning, with his teacher, with Sheikh wa Qarini, then also with his friend. That is the way a person should behave with the manners of the knowledge, so that he will get the knowledge. Qala Yusuf bin Hussein Ar-Razi bil adabi tafhamul ilma. He said here, Yusuf bin Hussein Ar-Razi, he died in 304 of Hijrah, considered as one of the most zuhud, the most actually going towards akhirah person, only thinking of akhirah. So he actually gave an advice by saying, bil adabi, with manners, tafhamul ilma, you will understand knowledge. By manners, you will understand the knowledge. Sometimes if you say something like this, if it's truth, we can see it in reality in our life. When anybody came to learn, come to classes to learn, and suddenly he or she doesn't understand about the knowledge, about what he want to learn. Normally, most of us, most of the knowledge seekers, the one who want to learn, when they don't understand, they don't have the passion to stay. They will run away, take off from the class, hoping that by saying that I don't want to attend that class because I don't understand. That is the most ridiculous excuse being used. But that is one of the part where you say the person is not honoring the knowledge. He doesn't have the manners with knowledge. Because sometimes when you actually learning with your teacher, with your sheikh or your teacher actually went to learn whatever he teach you. Maybe he took around 20 years to learn everything. He went to an Arab country. He stayed there 10 or 20 years, learning from scholars there. He took time to learn. But when you learn with the sheikh that you impressed with, you say that this sheikh is so knowledgeable. He know everything. You want to learn from him, but you don't want to stay when you don't understand. The sheikh, when he was in learning in the Arab country, he stayed there 15, 20 years just to learn and learn. But you, when you want to learn from him, you want everything to be actually fast, doesn't take time, quickly to understand everything. That is so actually not honoring the knowledge, and you don't have the manners with the knowledge. Because the ustaz learn Arabic language, took him maybe 20 years, and you want to learn in 3 months. And after you enter the class, you don't understand, you run away. Even some classes are free classes, you run away. Not paid classes, but free classes, and you run away. That is so, what we say, not really honoring or having manners with the knowledge. Because knowledge, like we said before, if you learn, take time, it's like knocking into the rock. You know, want to knock or to carve into the rock, so that it will have the sign or the thing permanently embedded in the rock. But you, when you learn, you just want to learn quickly, fast. You want to go with your life, but you don't want to honor the knowledge. That is so wrong. That's why he said, bil adabi tafhamul ilma. By manners, you will understand the knowledge. Why? لأن المتأدب يرى أهلا للعلم فيبذل له. Because those who behave, have manners, would be seen as fit for knowledge. Means that the teacher or anybody with him, his friend, his colleague, will see him as a person that is appropriate for the knowledge. So it will be given to him. Everybody will try to give knowledge to him, buy book for him, help him to understand. Taking him to any classes with him, with others, means that when you are being seen fit for the knowledge, then people will give you knowledge. And also, wa qalilul adabi yu'azzu al-ilmu an yudayya'a indah. But one who lack in manners, it will be costly. Means that the knowledge will be seen as very, very precious, to be given for him, to be wasted on him. Now, maybe people will say that, why should we waste knowledge, our time, to teach this guy? Because he is actually not fit for the knowledge. That's what happened when you don't have the manners with knowledge. Then nobody will want to give you knowledge. Nobody want to share with you. Nobody want to educate you, because you lack of knowledge. Even if you are in the private sector or private institution, the teacher will enter the class. Sure, he will enter the class. He will teach. But because the lack of manners in you, then the teacher will not have the attention to give you anything. The teacher will come into the class, talk and give explanation, and go back, just to make sure that his salary, he get the salary every month. He doesn't have the attention to give you anything, because he doesn't feel that you are actually worthy for him to give his time, his effort, his energy, because you actually doesn't show to him that you are worthy to get the knowledge. That's why the manner is so important. He said here, وَمِنْ هُنَا كَانَ السَّلَفُ رَحِمَهُ اللَّهِ يَعْتَنُونَ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ الْأَدَبِ كَمَا يَعْتَنُونَ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ الْعِلْمِ. From here, starting from this point, when we said, by this, the Salaf before us, when we say Salaf, we are talking about those who actually alive at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, we call as the Sahaba, or the companion of the Prophet, and their student, the Tabi'in, who didn't meet the Prophet ﷺ, but meeting and learning from the companion of Prophet ﷺ, from the Sahaba. And also those who come after the student of the Sahaba, learn from the student of Sahaba, they all being called as Salaf. Because Salaf is actually, as being said by the Prophet ﷺ, he praised them. He encouraged us to know their position in this ummah by saying, Khairul Qurun Qarni, the best generation is my generation. Thumma alladhina lahum, and after that, the second generation after them. Thumma alladhina lahum, and the third generation after them. So the Prophet stopped at that point. Means that all the knowledge, all the understanding of Islam must be according to that group of people, as we call Salaf. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also have lift up their position in Islam by his word in Surah Al-Tawbah, verse number 100. Maybe we did mention this ayah few times before, when Allah Ta'ala said, "Was-sabiqun al-awwalun," and those who actually early in entering Islam, early in iman, in belief. Was-sabiqun al-awwalun, the first and the early that enter Islam. Minal muhajirin wal ansar, from among the muhajirin, those who are actually from Mecca, stayed there, and actually after that they migrate. So that's being called as muhajirin, those who migrate from Mecca to Medina. Wal ansar, and also those who actually the people of Medina, we call ansar because they help their brothers, their Muslim brothers who fled from Mecca, to give them shelter, food, and everything. So Allah Ta'ala said, "Was-sabiqun al-awwalun," those who early and first in entering Islam, from among the muhajirin and ansar, from those group. "Walladzina taba'uhum bi ihsan," and whoever follow them correctly, in good manner, follow the muhajirin and the early muhajirin, the early ansar, follow them. Then Allah Ta'ala said, "Radiyallahu anhum wa radu an," Allah already pleased with them. Allah already pleased with them. Ridha means that Allah Ta'ala like them, love them, always make them as the priority. So Allah Ta'ala become ridha with them by saying, "Radiyallahu anhum wa radu an," and they will be pleased with whatever Allah Ta'ala give them in the hereafter. "Wa'adda lahum jannatin tajri tahtaha al-anhar," Allah Ta'ala provide for them paradise, paradise or orchard, tajri tahtaha al-anhar, that the river is actually flowing beneath the orchard or the Jannah, the paradise. Then they will be khalidina fiha abada, they will be inside that paradise forever, forever and ever, forever and ever. Dhalikal fawzul azim, and that is the biggest success. If you want to say about success, I got to buy a car, I got to buy a house, you say you have the success. But Allah Ta'ala said, dhalikal fawzul azim, to enter the paradise is actually the biggest, the greatest success is there. What we want to say about this ayah is about Allah Ta'ala become pleased with certain group of people. Allah Ta'ala make for them the paradise. Those people being said as the early muhajirin, the early ansar, and whoever follow them correctly, whoever follow them in good manners. That's why when we want to talk about knowing Islam, we cannot run away, you cannot avoid to always to return to the understanding of the Sahaba, the understanding of Tabi'in. Always look to them, always look after them. Look after them. Whatever they said about anything, that understanding is actually will put in front of anything, anybody else. Nobody can be better than them, because they are people that Allah Ta'ala said in the Surah Taubah, whoever follow them correctly will get the same ridha from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So that's why when we're talking about this, we have to go into learning or knowing what the Salaf is said about our topic. Like now it's about manners in knowledge. So he said here, by this, the Salaf before us, they were giving attention in learning manners as they give attention in learning knowledge. They give their attention in learning manners, same as they give attention to learn knowledge. So now he will say about what being said by them. He said here, Qala Muhammad ibn Sirin, one of the scholar of tabi'in, small tabi'in. He actually from among people who learn Islam from the Sahaba. He said, Qala Muhammad ibn Sirin, Kanu yata'allamuna al-huda al-hadiya kama yata'allamuna al-ilma. They, before, means that the Salaf, they were learning guidance. Means guidance. Al-hadi means that manners, or say the direction given by others. You know, do this, don't do this. That is called as hadi or guidance. So they were learning guidance as they were learning. They learn knowledge. Muhammad Sirin said they learn the manners or the guidance as they learn the knowledge. He said here about about the Salaf. Bal inna ta'ifata minhum yuqaddimuna ta'allumihi ala ta'allumil ilmi. And a group of Salaf, even forwarding, putting up front, learning manners before learning knowledge. You want to learn knowledge, learn manners first. Be behaving correct or good manners person. Then after that you go and learn about the knowledge. He said here, Malik bin Anas. This is example. Qala Malik bin Anas. Malik bin Anas is the imam of the Maliki fiqh sect in Islam. If you say Muhammad bin Idris al-Shafi'i, that's the Shafi'i imam. Abu Hanifah, Nu'man bin Sabit is the imam of Madhab Hanafi, and Ahmad bin Hanbal is the imam of Madhab the Hanbali school of fiqh. So basically, those people actually from among being people that being followed by others. Even though to be in a madhab is not actually a must in Islam, because the madhab or the school of fiqh only actually appear after the time of the Sahaba. Correctly, if you want to correctly, it's actually after 100 years of Hijrah. Because before that, everybody is actually learning Islam, learning the amal and the doing of Islam by looking to the Quran and the Sunnah. And everybody who explain anything will explain Qala Allah, Qala Rasulullah, Qala Allah, Qala Rasulullah. So basically at that time, the figure like Hasan al-Basri, Muhammad ibn Sirin, like we are talking about now, Abdullah bin Mubarak, Fudail bin Iyad, Sa'id bin Jubair, Sa'id bin Musayyab, all of them were teaching fiqh, were teaching about the ibadah, about the way of worshipping Allah, about everything. But they actually didn't become a school of madhab. You don't ever hear madhab Hasan al-Basri, madhab Muhammad ibn Sirin, Muhammad Yahya bin Ma'in. You don't ever hear about them. You only hear about after that, whoever after them, like Abu Hanifah. He was born on 80 of Hijrah, and his prime age is actually around after 100. Muhammad ibn Shafi'i also born in 150 Hijrah. Ahmad bin Hanbal after him. So all of this, when you look at it, the school of fiqh is actually after 100 Hijrah. So before that, people are actually quite learning everything, always return to the dalil. And most of the people actually maybe understand Arabic. But after 100 of Hijrah, the expansion of Islam, or the nation of Islam, happened that many people who are not capable of understanding Arabic correctly enter into Islam, and they actually start to become a little bit actually astray by saying that you must enter madhab, you must enter anything. So anyway, Imam Malik bin Anas, the Imam of Maliki sect of Maliki group of fiqh in Islam, He said, Lifata, qala Malik bin Anas, Lifata min Quraish. Malik bin Anas said to a youngster, a teenagers from among Quraish. He said, Ya bana akhi, oh my brother's son, the son of his brother, is the way to talk. When you say to somebody, you say, my brother's son, my sister's son, my sister's daughter. Means that even though the person may be not your brother in blood, but they are brother in religion, in faith. So he said, oh, the brother of the son of my brother, or my brother's son. Ta'allamil adaba. Ta'allamil adaba qabla an tata'allamal ilma. Learn manners before you learn knowledge. So he said to them, is actually what we said, the group of Salaf is actually making it first thing first for a person to start with manners before learning knowledge. This is one of the examples. Wa kanu yuzhiruna hajatahum ilaih. And the Salaf also, they express and they show their needs toward the manners. Like we said here, qala Makhlad ibn Husayn ibn al-Mubarak yawman. Makhlad bin Husayn said, once said to Abdullah bin Mubarak. Those are actually people that learn from the Sahaba. So they are actually talking to each other, advising each other. He said once, Nahnu ila kathiri min al-adabi ahwaju minna ila kathiri min al-ilmi. He said, we towards abundance of manners are more in need than towards abundance of knowledge. So you have many knowledge, many adab. Then having many adab, we actually need it right now. We need to for the manners more than we need to the knowledge right now. They said. Wa kanu yusuna bihi wa yurshiduna ilayhi. And they, the Salaf also, they advising with about manners. They actually advise to one to another about manners, and they guide others towards the manners. Qala Malik, also Malik bin Anas, the same Imam, he said, Kanat ummi tu'ammimuni. He said, my mother was before wrapping me with turban. Means that the mother actually wrapping his head with turban. And he said here, Wataqulu li, and she said to me, while wrapping the turban, she is saying to Imam Malik, saying that, idhab ila Rabi'ata, go to Rabi'ah. Rabi'ah mean ta'ni ibna Abi Abdurrahman, faqih ahli Madinah fi zamanihi. Means that Rabi'ah ibni Abi Abdurrahman. She meant a person named Rabi'ah bin Abdurrahman. He is actually faqih, most knowledgeable person about jurisprudence, about fiqh, in among Ahli Madinah, among the settlers or the inhabitants or the people of Madinah. At his time, fi zamani, at this time, his mother said, go to this Rabi'ah and fata'allam min adabihi qabla ilmihi. Then learn his manners before you learn his knowledge. Learn his manners before you learn his knowledge. These are examples from the Salafus Saleh about the importance of manners in their life. You know, they do like to have many knowledge, but they seem to see that having many knowledge without manners essentially doesn't give any goodness. He said here, وإنما حرم كثير من طلبة العصر العلم بتضييع الأدب. If you look actually at in our time right now, many of students at this time being refrained from knowledge. You know, they learn, but they didn't get many of the knowledge. They learn, but most of the learning just stop at examination. After the exam, you ask them, nothing is stick in their mind. Nothing stick in their mind about the knowledge. All about passing the exam. All about passing the exam. Then essentially, it's not a good thing. Later on, after that, when he went into the field, the advancement of knowledge, he limited his knowledge to be learned within 4 years, within 6 years, within 10 years. Essentially, that is not enough. We before in Yemen, when our university that I learned before in Sana'a, Jamiat Al-Iman, Al-Iman University, they put requirement for the student to be in that university for 10 years. For 10 years, not for 10 years. Means that when you being accepted as a student there, you must finish your study within 10 years. So you're being asked by people, why 10 years? Why must be 10 years? So the president of the university, he answered by saying, when you want to learn, medicine, to be a doctor, you have to stay learning about medicine, about the human body, to become a general practice, the general practitioner of a doctor. You have to stay for 7 years. Now they cut it to 6 years. 7 years, then only you get your degree. You cannot get it in 4 years. No, 4 years. Must be 6 to 7 years for the first degree to become a doctor. To sit at a chair, to examine people, saying that this is for you, this is not for you. Your problem is this, your problem is that. General, for a clinic, you have to stay learning about medicine, about human body for 6 to 7 years. And you want to become an expert, in cardiology, about the heart, or about the physiology, about the function of the every organ or about a neurology, in actually brain and everything connecting to the brain. You want to get into that field, you have to add 3 more years. So in general, a student, a doctor, to become a specialist, he must stay at least for 10 years. At least for 10 years. So my sheikh, my guru, my teacher said, if you want to correct the something that is actually should not be there in the human body, you want to correct it, you want to cure it, you take at least 10 years. 10 years. So how can you want to guide people to the goodness of dunya and akhirah? You want to mend their heart, their soul. How can 4 years is enough for you? How can? He said, how can 4 years is enough? Even essentially right now, we some of us, or many of us, essentially, even though we are already left out the study in university, or in institution, in private institution, or in any institution, we actually still learning, try to learn what is the best way to teach people, what is the best book to for us to convey as a message to others. We always try to make it better until now. Meaning that even though you left your study, you must make a further study after that, even by yourself. Even actually by going into university, when you've been given the degree, you are qualified to make a research by yourself. You are qualified to learn and to continue your learning after that. Not actually you that doesn't have to be attached. Only that you must refer whatever you know to the more appropriate person that know about that knowledge. Okay, so that many of our students in our time right now being refrained from knowledge because of abandoning they abandon the manners. They don't want to learn, and they said that 4 years after that they want to go to work, and after that they actually the goal of their life is actually being put like that. 4 years learning, after that marriage, after that work, after that and everything. So the knowledge is not there anymore. It's not there anymore. That's the thing. Many of us have that type of situation, and that is actually being said here as abandoning manners with the knowledge. You abandon your manners with knowledge, because once you learn something, you have to stick to it. You have to continue to think about it. You have to make research, to continuously reading. I met before Dr. Hamid Arshad, one of genealogy about expert about woman health, or woman fertility. He said that even though he already been called as expert, he is still continuing to learn, to do research. For when I said about 10 years, he said after that you have to add up 3 more years. After that, 3 more years. After that, 4 years. 20 years to become an expert in any field of the medicine. But you'll be secluded into one thing, because if you are actually a doctor, uh, in neurology, people don't come to you about their tooth. They say that you are a doctor, but here my teeth. See, you cannot see. And people who are actually learning dentistry, you don't ask them about your knee. Why my knee is hurt? Because they are actually being secluded into sector of expertise. So the expertise become more, but the learning is actually doesn't end. He said here, continuing to explain about the importance of manners. He said here, Ashraf al-Laythu bin Sa'ad rahimahullah ala ashabil hadith. Al-Layth bin Sa'ad, he is one of the scholars at the time of Imam Ash-Shafi'i rahimahullah. And Imam Ash-Shafi'i said Al-Layth bin Sa'ad is more knowledgeable about fiqh that if compared to Imam Malik. You see, Imam Malik have the mazhab, become the followers. People come to him, ask him a question, and he answered. And people just make whatever word come from his mouth as the rules about doing everything in gaining the pleasure of Allah, acceptance of Allah. You want to accept Allah, then you learn from him. But Layth bin Sa'ad, Al-Layth bin Sa'ad, what we name that we mentioned here, being said by Imam Ash-Shafi'i, he said Al-Layth bin Sa'ad, he is actually more knowledgeable than Malik. But you don't have the madhab Laythi. Have you ever heard madhab Laythi? What madhab are you? Laythi. Because this is the thing. Because when a madhab or the school of fiqh want to expand or become big, they must have students who are actually working diligently to spread the knowledge of their teacher, like Imam Shafi'i, his student spreading his knowledge. Malik bin Anas. So Layth bin Sa'ad, even though he is more knowledgeable by the saying of Imam Shafi'i, but he doesn't have a madhab. So anyway, but his thought or anything that he say about jurisprudence, fiqh, will always happen in, being seen in the book of fiqh, but big books, not the small one, because the small one is actually being summarization of the big one. For the big one, you will see all the name is there, all the name of the Sahaba, all the name of the Tabi'in, whoever being giving their thought about something, about the meaning of ayah, about the meaning of hadith, you will see there. If you buy just a simple book, you will not see their name. So Adli bin Saad, he looked at the companion of the hadith, means that people that struggling learning hadith, people who said that they want to learn hadith and want to spread hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Fara'a minhum syai'an ka'annahu karihahu. But then he saw from them, from those people, something that he actually doesn't really liking, not to liking it. Yeah? Something he seemed to not liking it. He doesn't like what he saw. Then he said, "What is this?" He said, "Ma hada, apa ni? Ma hada, what is this? Ma hada, apa ni?" Means he actually looking at those people who learning hadith but have something about manners that he doesn't like. So he looked at them and he said, "What is this? Antum ila yasirim minal adabi ahwaju minkum ila kathir min ilmi." All of you all actually in much need to manners, better, much more than your needs towards more of knowledge. You know, you want more knowledge, but you actually need a little of manners because your manners is not there. فَمَاذَا يَقُولُ اللَّيْثِ? If that is what Layth bin Sa'ad said, and he is actually living in the second hundred of the era of the Muslim, means that at the time of Imam Ash-Shafi'i, at the time of Imam Malik. So he is alive at that time and seeing everything, and he said something like that. He said that you all are actually in much need towards manners more than your needs towards the knowledge. Better to have manners than have knowledge but no manners. He said something like that. Because knowledge itself, you have to understand, having knowledge itself, it doesn't become a ticket for you to enter paradise. Allah Ta'ala surely raising up people who actually have knowledge and have belief. A few rank. But the problem is, if you have the knowledge and you don't practice the knowledge, because what we are talking right now, those people who actually being schooled because lack of manners, usually because they don't practice whatever they learn. If they practice what they learn, then the saying by Layth bin Sa'ad or anybody else there will not be happening. Because the starting is because you have the knowledge but you don't practice the knowledge. Because having knowledge only is not a ticket for you to enter paradise. Because the knowledge must be followed by the action. Because like we said, when you said that you believe in Allah, you believe in Allah. So when you believe in Allah, anything He told you to not to do, or anything He told you to do, you will do it. You will obey. Because obeying the command of Allah is the first sign about belief. You don't say, I believe Allah, but I don't follow Him. That is not a belief. That is not a belief in Islam. Because belief in Islam must be from whatever you said in your heart. Means that you believe in your heart. You say it by your mouth, and you are doing it with your limb. You're doing it with your body. That is called as iman. That is the belief that Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran and the Prophet mentioned in the Sunnah. That's because sometimes People say belief is just a belief, means that you believe something. The belief itself must be followed by the amal. If not, then a person, he and the people of munafiq are the same. Inside their heart, they have something, but in the action, they have something else. It's like, oh no, not munafiq. It's actually, the best example is actually the iblis. Iblis, upon him, the wrath of Allah upon him, the punishment from Allah. Iblis, la'natullahi alayh, he actually, by believing Allah, the one who created him, created Adam, has power upon everything. The Iblis, he have that belief. But the problem, if he doesn't have the action, doesn't have the practice of whatever he believes. Same as knowledge. When you learn many knowledge, but you don't practice your knowledge, then it doesn't have any goodness. That's why having manners, that actually the manners is actually something that you do with your body, your face, your saying, your action. That is manners. So manners is really relate to whatever the body of the human. But the belief is inside. You believe something, then your manners should be better. Okay? فَمَاذَا يَقُولُ اللَّيْثِ? Imagine, what will Layth bin Sa'ad said? لَوْ رَأَى حَالَ كَثِيرٍ مِنْ طُلَّابِ الْعِلْمِ, if he sees the condition, the situation of many of the seekers of knowledge in our time, في هذا العصر, in this time. Those who actually doesn't want to learn Islam correctly, or start to learn Islam and be judgmental, to judge people, to say something is really doesn't really in liking. So we said that those people are actually condemned into hell. So this is actually what we can say as the importance of manners in learning, because by manners, like we said, by one of our reference today, Yusuf bin Hussein, by Yusuf bin Hussein Ar-Razi, by manners you will understand. By manners you will understand. Through manners will you understand. Wallahi alhamd. So we arrive at the end of our class. Inshallah, we'll look into question and try to answer as many as we can. طيب, alhamd, there is there's no question at all. So our class will end today, but inshallah, next week we will take the 11th summary of the honoring knowledge. Siyanatul ilmi amma yashin. You have to protect the knowledge from anything that will tarnish it. Mimma yukhaliful muru'ati, yukhaliful muru'ata wa yukhrimuha. From among things that will tarnish the manners or the honor of the knowledge, and abandon it. So means that when you learn knowledge, you have to have that manners. When you say something that will not tarnish the knowledge that you learn, that is the thing that inshallah we will take inshallah next week. If no, because we actually already left, because last week we didn't have the class. Inshallah we will have it next week. And no question, like we said before, no question. Walilham, ala kulli hal, may Allah Ta'ala give us the good manners because the Prophet ﷺ did mention in his supplication, in his prayer at night, Allahumma hdini li ahsan akhlaq. Oh Allah, guide me to the best akhlaq, to the best manner, to the best akhlaq, morals. فَإِنُّ لَهِ لِأَحْسَنِهَا إِلَّا أَنْتَ, because nobody can guide me to the goodness of manners or the akhlaq except you. Except you. You have to always ask from Allah Ta'ala to make you better. Better than before. Better than yesterday. Better than your old self. To become a person that will actually eligible to get knowledge, insyaAllah. And to practice the knowledge that he learned. Amin. Ya Rabbal Alamin. Wallahu a'lam. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Subhanahu wa ta'ala anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.